What is up, guys? Welcome back to the career mode. This time we are in Japan, and this Japan is quite rainy. To be honest, it's got light rain in Suzuka. Kimi Raikkonen starting from pole position, so our teammate is doing well. And I mean by teammate is we've switched up a little bit. We're actually now driving as Sebastian Vettel to try and regain some ground in the championship and catch Lewis Hamilton's qualifying didn't go too bad, 3/10 off of our teammate. So obviously not perfect, but it could have been a little bit better. I'm not gonna lie, but we're on the formation lap now, and you can see just how rainy it really is. Like, it's really bad in terms of grip and traction. And the Toro Rosso was great in these conditions, but I don't feel that the Ferrari will necessarily suit these conditions as much. So we're going to have to see how we go. Obviously got our Lewis Hamilton is quite a way ahead in the Drivers' Championship, so we're going to have to make up a lot of ground over the next 5 races, give or take. I'm pretty sure it's correct. My math should be correct. But yeah, we're going to do what we can and try and clinch that 5th world title for Sebastian Vettel. But we're already on the grid, waiting for the lights to go out. The lights have come on the gantry, and we're ready in Japan. We are underway, and it's a mediocre start at best for the Ferraris. The Mercedes get off to a better start. Bottas is trying to challenge Vettel. Raikkonen and Hamilton going side by side into turn 1. We're going to follow suit. They touch just a little bit, so that gives us a chance to actually go up the inside of Kimi Raikkonen. Maybe have a look at Hamilton as well. We're going to go round his outside through the S section. We're going to take the lead of the Grand Prix with only a few corners into the race. Now, that was so lucky that Kimi and Hamilton didn't take each other out, because we need Kimi to score some good points if we want to have a chance in the Constructors. But nonetheless, we're going to come through up to the Degners. You can see we're going a little bit slowly. We're going to go a little bit wide onto the grass. Hamilton is going to have a look down outside maybe. He's actually going to go onto the gravel. He's going to spin. He's going to clip us, and he's going to end himself into the gravel. So that is Lewis Hamilton effectively last place now, because he just absolutely binned it in the gravel. Going to look on board on Lewis Hamilton and see what happened here. So he locks up going into the Degner 1. He just puts it in the gravel, and obviously as we come through, he clips into our rear wheel and puts himself into essentially what is last place. So disappointed of him, to say the least. But a little bit further back on lap 1, we've got a bit of a challenge from Romain Grosjean on Fernando Alonso, but won't worry too much about that. The main thing is we're in the lead and Kimi's in second, which is what we need to haul them beautiful Constructors points away. But we've got another battle further down the field. This time it's Lance Stroll who is actually challenging Fernando Alonso. So Fernando Alonso not having a fantastic race so far here at Japan. Obviously, Honda moving on from McLaren to Toro Rosso next year. This will be the last McLaren Honda race I think we'll ever see, in all honesty, considering how bad it is. Look at the straight line speed advantage. Stroll looks to the outside, then moves to the inside, and he's going to get the job done because Alonso goes off the track a little bit. It's going to give Palmer an opportunity. Palmer's going to muscle his way through past Stroll, and Palmer's made 2 positions up into the point. So Jolyon Palmer is just taking the race by the horns. It's his last race for Renault as well. So lap 4, we've got a bit of an advantage. Kimi has got engine issues, so that's why we're able to pull away. And we're going to change our strategy a little bit based on the assumption that Kimi will hold these guys up, and which he is, as we're starting to spread our legs. But Ricciardo is going to look for a move into 130. He's going to pull alongside, and as we say that, there's a message from race control. Ricciardo has a 5-second stop-go penalty for overtaking under yellow flags. That must have been overtaking Bottas. So Ricciardo has a 5-second stop-go penalty when he does decide to take that. Now, obviously, we're going to come into the pit lane while those guys were battling up in the S section. But I just wanted to take it nice and easy and give myself a bit of a breather. But so yeah, so far the race is going fantastic. Not too bad. Hopefully Kimi will fix his issues, whatever he has, because it's a bit annoying. It's a bit annoying because we was looking really good for 1-2. He might have even challenged me for the win, but if he's got issues, then surely that is not going to happen, because I can't see him actually fighting me too hard for that. But we're back in effectively last place. The only car behind us is Hamilton, so we've got to slice our way through the field while Kimi holds everyone else up. which will just be absolutely amazing if Kimi can do such a thing. So we're passing the Albers now. We're past Ericsson. We're now onto the back of Pascal Wehrlein. We're going to look to the left-hand side into Spoon, and we're just going to breeze up his inside. And we've got the poor man of Stoffel Vandoorne and Fernando Alonso just ahead of us. So not too many cars are ahead of us, but we're going to have a look as a new lap starts. We've got Raikkonen again being challenged by Daniel Ricciardo. He's going to look around and goes outside. He actually taps Kimi, and Kimi looks like he's going to go around. He does. So Kimi goes round. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. And then further up the back, we've got Pierre Gasly, who's pulling off to the left-hand side. My two favourite drivers essentially out of the race immediately. That is awful. You can see Kimi on the right-hand side. Vandoorne kind of just fancied going through him. But it looks like Vandoorne's going to come really close to the safety car, and he does. He actually loses his front wing. So that is going to ruin Vandoorne's race. And I wouldn't be surprised if he got a warning for that. But there was our race lead at the moment. Daniel Ricciardo ahead of Max Verstappen. You got Esteban Ocon in third place because everyone's just evaporated in terms of that. Lewis Hamilton, the stark contrast, is actually in P16 at this point. Hamilton has pitted, but at the same time, it's people might want to stop, so that's going to change things a little bit. And speaking of changing things, we've got another message from Race Control. All those cars have got drive-through penalties, so that's Ericsson, Perez, Bottas, Raikkonen, Wehrlein, Massa, Hulkenberg and Hamilton all have drive-through penalties for speeding under the safety car. While we're trying to have a look at Fernando Alonso, he goes a little bit deep, so we're going to come back for the switchback on the inside, and we're going to take that position off of Fernando. Speaking of those cars who had the drive-through penalties, here they come. Bottas leading them off with Perez, the two Saubers, Kimi, Massa, and then obviously Hamilton right at the back, followed by I believe that's Stoffel Vandoorne, I want to say, coming in to change his front wing. But it's the safety car can catch people out. It definitely caught us out. But bear in mind that Ricciardo hasn't served his pit stop yet. So if he doesn't serve his pit stop, he'll get a 5-second penalty at the end of the race. But it's going to be difficult to see. We're on fresh tyres. That's why we're slicing through the field. All of these guys have been on these tyres for about 10 laps now. So we're going to dive up the inside of the Haas. We almost go in to Carlos Sainz. So again, it's his last race for Toro Rosso as well. He'll be in Renault next season, but it's going to be interesting to see how close we can come to Red Bull, because Red Bull at the moment they're fairly quick. Towards like lap 11, lap 12, I reckon they'll slow. You never know. They might run into any issues with their car. Fingers crossed that they have some issues with their car. Speaking of that, we have got a Red Bull going extremely slowly coming to Spoon. Verstappen has to slow behind him because he can't overtake until Ricciardo moves out of the way. That's Ocon also behind, so we're all bunched up behind Daniel Ricciardo. We're going to go through. Carlos Sainz almost makes it through, but Ricciardo kind of blocks him off just a little bit, maybe to give Verstappen and Ocon a bit of breathing room. But here we go. We're looking at Ocon into 130R. We're going to pull to the right-hand side, take Verstappen's toe. Ocon's going to get there just ahead of us. We're going to pull to the left-hand side and then get into the braking zone just ahead of him. So that is us up into P2. And here comes a wounded Daniel Ricciardo. So he had a puncture on his rear tyres. And here goes the 5-second stop-go penalty. He has to serve. So that's really hurt his race. I don't... Whether he hit a curb or something, I'm not quite sure. But obviously that has ruined his race. He was looking good for a podium at least. And obviously it's not going to happen. But speaking, here's the other Red Bull, and it looks like we're going to pass him into 130R. Verstappen blinks, he goes a bit wide, he's actually stuck on the curb as we go down his inside, and we're actually going to take this position off Verstappen, assuming he doesn't collide into us. But yeah, so we've taken the lead of this Japanese Grand Prix. It's such a crazy race. It's probably been one of the best races so far this season. We've got Sergio Perez now on the back of Fernando Alonso. He's going to go to the left-hand side. Basically what we did, but Perez will get it done a lot sooner with that Mercedes engine. But that is it. That was the final lap of the Grand Prix for us. We're going to come across the line to take first place in what can I only say is a chaotic Japanese Grand Prix. It was such an amazing race. It was all over the place. I generally had no idea who would end up on the podium, if they were going to stop, what was going to happen. Turns out no one really stopped up at the front, so that's amazing. I was happy. I expected to win that. If I thought I was going to lose it because of everyone doing the one stop and everything, but the safety car I think really helped out. I reckon if there was no safety car, everyone would have pit. But it was really lucky. Felipe Massa not having a great race. Quite a few cars not having a great race, and I didn't actually get it. I watched it happen in the replays, but Hamilton actually ended up crashing out with Van Dorn at the end of the race. So I was annoying I couldn't find that footage, but I promise, guys, it did happen. We take first place winners trophy. Ocon gets his first podium in career mode, and look how much closer them driver standings are. We're not that far behind Hamilton now, and we're gonna push on through the final four races, and do what we can. Anyway, that's been it from me, guys. Until next time, bye bye.